So we're here today to let people know what you've been working on and the great announcement that you're going to make. So let's just start with Rob. What's your announcement and what is it?
So, I've been with D-Lab Emergo as a fellow for the past few months now. And after all this work I've been doing, and especially talking with Emergo a lot and kind of thinking, what are the real problems that are hitting people in the cryptocurrency space? And one of those is that people have no transaction surety. So every time they send a transaction, they don't actually know if it's going to go to the right wallet. FIO did a poll a few months ago that showed 75% of cryptocurrency users are actually mildly afraid or extremely paranoid every time they send cryptocurrencies. And so this is a real problem that no one has addressed even 10 years into Bitcoin being uh, coming about. And so since that hasn't been addressed, the goal of my fellowship project was to solve this transaction surety problem. And so right now, on this May, I am announcing the release of Syre, which is a tokenless, blockchain agnostic, invoice-based protocol which seeks to make sending transactions worry-free and as easy as possible.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you described the pain point that a lot of developers and users are seeing. So, so Syre is your solution, and how does it work to reduce or eliminate that pain point?
Right. So currently, all the systems we use for blockchains are push-based systems. So when I want to send you money, all I do is copy and paste your address and click send. This, while very simple, it's easy to implement for the wallet developers, it's pretty easy for the user to understand, has a lot of negatives. And we see that every day with all the different malware that targets clipboards, all the users complaining they lose their money. And in essence, it's not a great system when we think about how erring human beings are. With Syre, it's an invoice-based protocol. And so the benefits this has are multiple. The first being that instead of just trusting and hoping and praying that the address you're sending to is correct, you can actually prove that it's correct. And so if you receive an invoice as the payer, well, then that means if you confirm the invoice, it's guaranteed to go back to the same address it came from. Therefore, from my perspective as the payer, I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress. If I receive the invoice, say I'm on an online e-commerce website paying with crypto, well, then I get the invoice. It's guaranteed when I fulfill it, it goes back to the merchant. There's no worries. And so that really revolutionizes the whole experience for users. And this is, like I said, 75% of people in crypto worry every time they send a transaction. But when we can simplify the process with Syre, it's a good idea. Furthermore, besides just having proof that it'll go to the correct address, you also flip the whole risk profile. Currently in our push-based systems, when I send you money, I risk 100% of the funds and I take 100% of the risk myself. That's a risk profile no one would ever put on a human in any other scenario. Humans make so many errors, and when it's especially to deal with your own money, it's crazy that the standard today is that too bad, you'll lose your money, the systems are the way they are, tough luck. It's a horrible user experience, and it's no wonder that we keep saying, oh, we're going to have mass adoption around the corner, mass adoption around the corner. But when this is the user experience, what do people expect? With Syre, instead of having 100% of the risk being 100% of the funds, instead, it's only a transaction fee if your Syre invoice is on chain, or completely free, or is $0 if it's off chain. And instead of the risk being on the payer, the risk is moved to the invoice sender. So in many cases, it'd be just to the merchants. Okay. Lastly, Syre invoices also limit user input and in many cases remove it. So as we said, there's so many ways user input error can enter the picture. But if we have a two-step system with an invoice-based system, you have two eyes to verify that there are no user input errors. But furthermore, if the one sending the invoice is, say, a server or a service, well, then the invoice is created automatically. Therefore, there is no user input. And so through the entire process of sending the invoice and fulfilling it, there's no user input error that can enter the picture. And thus, by proving address ownership, limiting the ability for user input error to happen, and by minimizing the risk to almost zero, Syre comes in to really solve the transaction surety problem.
That sounds like a great solution that for a very sort of anxiety-ridden process in the past. So when is this going to go live? And also, what is the cost or what the users have to do? Is there a payment or thing they have to do to be part of Syre?
Right. So Syre is just a protocol. So it's really just a system designed in a specific way. And the cool thing is that it's blockchain agnostic and tokenless. And so what this means is that there isn't some complicated process which wallets have to go through in order to support Syre. It's actually quite simple, and it's made to be as simple as possible for wallet developers, whether they're on an account-based blockchain like Ethereum or a UTXO blockchain like Bitcoin or Cardano. It shouldn't matter if the wallet developer wants to put in a little extra time to implement this and make the lives of all their users so much better, then they should be able to support it. And that's why Syre was designed to have as little bloat as possible and to kind of leverage off this open source ecosystem so that if one blockchain invests all this time developing tooling around Syre, it can be reused by others, either completely or with a little bit of code editing, so that, let's say, if you have a multi-currency wallet, instead of having to implement 13 different protocols for invoices for each different blockchain, you can just have one Syre invoices user interface for every single blockchain and actually have it be reasonably simple to implement for all of them. And so the idea is that it's not on the user to find out how to use Syre invoices, but they're going to be put into the UI of existing wallets. And so the very first wallet that will be supporting Syre is Tesseract Wallet, which is another DLab startup. And that will be slated for most likely summer 2019. And so you can have both on iPhone and Android on Ethereum send Syre invoices. However, furthermore, we'll also be supporting Yoroi, the Emergo's Cardano wallet on both mobile and web. And so that'll be probably slated end of summer, maybe early fall. And so either on Tesseract's wallet or Yoroi, you can get a first-hand experience trying Syre out for yourself, completely free.
Wow, that's great. Well, is there anything that you want to add before we sign off? Or
I mean, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to DLab for this opportunity to develop this protocol. I wouldn't have been able to do it without putting in this much time and effort dedicated to it. So on that front, thank you very much. But furthermore, if anyone is interested in Syre, you can go to syre.io. That's syre.io. On there, you will see a white paper which goes in depth over how the protocol actually works and different use case examples. There's also a whiteboard video, so you can see how the invoices actually work on chain. So if you're curious to see, is it really complicated cryptography or not, just go check out the video. And also on the website, there's an FAQ. You can sign up to the newsletter, and there's also a Telegram channel. So if you're curious about anything, feel free to shoot me an email, join the Telegram channel, sign up to a newsletter, and you will be kept up to date.
Wow. Well, that's really excellent. And thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to seeing in action.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me just turn this off and have a good day.